What's your reaction to the trade?
Well, my reaction is that I thought it was the right move by the Knicks considering the circumstances. Carmelo Anthony is finally in a position where he's going to be able to legitimately compete for a championship. And I think that's something that his talent demands. This is a man that's been in the league for 14 years. He has never played in an NBA Finals. He's been to one conference finals in his career when he's with Denver, and Chauncey Billups was the point guard back there. We need to see somebody of his talent legitimately competing for a championship. And I think this definitely puts him in position, because if Russell Westbrook and Paul George, you have one of the elite, if not the elite backcourt in all of basketball. And I can think of no team that wants to go up against the Golden State Warriors more than Russell Westbrook and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So when you look at it from that perspective, the fact that they've been buffered by the presence of Carmelo Anthony, who can drop 25 a night, who can drop 40 on any given night, I definitely think that's a plus. Not to say that the Golden State Warriors are still not the favorites, because they are. But if there is somebody that's nipping and tucking at their heels, it is definitely the Oklahoma City Thunder. In the case of the New York Knicks, they're rebuilding, and the name that needs to come to everybody's mind is Phil Jackson. That's the name that I've heard. The reason why I bring up Phil Jackson is this: he made such a big deal of denigrating Carmelo Anthony at every turn. He lowered the value of Carmelo Anthony. And as a result, the New York Knicks were getting bad offers from all over the place. Ryan Anderson of Houston, take his 3 years, $60 million on his contract, okay? That wasn't going to happen, along with other teams coming to them and offering an exorbitant amount of dollars, along with, asking the Knicks to take on some dollars and some years on salary. That wasn't going to happen. The New York Knicks were very happy that Carmelo Anthony opened his options and included Cleveland back into the mix, but then Cleveland wouldn't even return their phone calls. They were not interested in acquiring Carmelo Anthony. That's a story for another day, because we've got to ask ourselves what his friend LeBron James had to do with that. They wouldn't even call the Knicks back. So in the end, if you're the New York Knicks, what choice do you have? Enes Kanter, who can play the 5 for you, average 14 to 16 a game, keeps Porzingis at the 4 spot. You've got Tim Hardaway Jr. that's going to have to play small forward along with Courtney Lee, because you don't really have a small forward to speak of. The Knicks are clearly rebuilding. But in the end, it comes down to Melo lucking up and landing with a quality team like this, and Phil Jackson being a huge culprit in all of this, because he diminished the value of Carmelo Anthony, which was why so many teams were making bogus offers to the New York Knicks, forcing them to settle for what they ultimately settled for.